chance to present my research proposal. First of all, I want to say thank you for God because His blessing and His mercy, we can conduct the seminar proposal today. But before that, the Honorable for the Dean of the Teacher Training and Education Universitas Nias, the Honorable for the Chair of English Education Study Program, the Honorable for Sir Elwin Piarawan Zebua SPD MPD, especially as the reviewer for my seminar proposal, and also for all of my audience watching this video. Before showing the slides, I would like to introduce myself. I'm HERNI TRISNA LASE. My register number is 20210803 and 3. I'm from English Education Study Program, Faculty of Teacher Training and Education, Universitas Nias. And the title of my research proposal, an analysis of teachers' difficulties in teaching English using scientific approach at the 8th grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hilidoho in 2022 and 2023. And there are 3 chapters that I will explain at this time. Namely, Chapter 1 it is about the introduction, Chapter 2 it is about the review of related literature, and Chapter 3 it is about the research method. Now, I'm going to talking about the Chapter 1. It is about the introduction. For the first is background of the problem. Well, all of us know that education is important for human life. Someone who has a good education usually has a good mindset and a good attitude. So, to create a good education, the government established the Indonesian curriculum to make students think scientifically, logically, and objectively. Therefore, the Minister of Education set 20 and 30 curriculum to develop of educations in Indonesian. And to implementing the 20 and 30 curriculum, the scientific approach as one of the learning method should be used in conducting teaching learning process in the classroom. Scientific approach in 20 and 30 curriculum consists of 5 stages. They are observing, questioning, experimenting, associating, and also communicating. All of it should be implemented when teachers teach the students in the classroom. So, the students are able to develop their critical thinking and apply the scientific method in solving every problems in life. However, based on the preliminary research, during the first and the second internship activities at the A grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hilidoho, which implements the 20 and 30 curriculum and also applies the scientific approach in teaching learning process, especially for English subjects, there are several indications of difficulties faced by English teachers in the teaching learning process in the classroom. Therefore, the researchers are interested in analyzing what are the difficulties faced by English teachers in implementing a scientific approach in the classroom. Finally, the researcher wants to give the title of the research as an analysis of teachers' difficulties in teaching English using scientific approach at the 8th grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hilidoho in 2022 and 2023. The next slide, it is about the purpose and the formulations of the problem. So, the purpose of this research is to analyze the teacher's difficulties in teaching English using scientific approach and the factor that causes it at the 8th grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hilidoho. While the formulations of the problem is what are the difficulties faced by English teachers in implementing scientific approach at the 8th grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hilidoho, and also what are the factors that causes teachers English difficult in implement scientific approach at the 8th grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hilidoho. The next is about significances of this research. There are 3 in this research, namely for the researcher, for the teachers, and also for the next researcher. Now let's move for the chapter 2. It is about review of related literature. In this part, we are talking about theoretical framework. So, first point is the 20 and 30 curriculum. According to Suryani, 20 and 22 states that curriculum is a set of plans and arrangements about the purpose, content, teaching materials, and methods used to guide the implementations of learning activities to achieve specific educational goals. And the 20 and 30 curriculum aims to preparing the Indonesian generations in order they are able to live as faithful, productive, innovative, creative, effective, and contributive in life, society, nation, state, and also civilizations. The 20 and 30 curriculum focus on education based on competence and characters. Competence is a knowledge, skills, and abilities or capabilities that a person achieves. Students are able to perform particular cognitive, affective, and psychomotor behaviors. The next is the functions of 20 and 30 curriculum. The functions of 20 and 30 curriculum, according to Septiani 20 and 21, is to develop the needs for faith, character, knowledge, creativity, independence, democracy, and also responsibility among learners, while the characteristics of it, namely, develops the balance between spiritual aspects, social attitudes, knowledge, and skills. Then, school is a part of society that gives plain learning experience. So the students apply what they learn at school to society and use the society as a source of learning. The 20 and 30 curriculum also provides sufficient time to develop students' attitudes, knowledge, and skills. Then is develop the competence that is stated in core competence and break it down into basic competence of each instructions. Then about the scientific approach. According to Endam 20 and 22 says that the scientific approach is a learning process designed so that students actively construct the concepts, laws, or principles through observing, formulating problems, proposing or formulating hypotheses, collecting the data with various techniques, analyzing data, drawing conclusions, and communicate. In conducting teaching using scientific approach, there are 5 stages. First is observing. Observing here, it is when the teacher using media in teaching learning process and asking the students to observe the media, maybe a picture or maybe video that related with their material. The next is about questioning. Questioning here, it is when the teacher giving some questions based the observations for the students after students observe the media. Okay, the next is experimenting. Experimenting here that the students are expected to find other source and get some information from it that related with their material. For the next is associating. In this stage, the students continue the activity from exploring step that they analyze the segments or tasks was given by the teachers. And the last is about communicating. In this stage, the students will convey their conclusions about the material that given to be presented to audience. It means that the students can share their thoughts in front of the class, then the teacher assess their performance. Okay, the next slide is about the conceptual framework. You can see in my slide, it is start with the researcher, the title and the data collecting technique, and also the research instruments, namely interview, observations, and also documentations. Then the researcher getting the result based data. Now we go on for the chapter 3. It is about research method. Approach and type of this research is descriptive method with a qualitative approach. And the variable, there are two. The independent variable is implementations of scientific approach, and the dependent variable in this research is the difficulties faced by the teacher. This research will be conducted on April 20 and 23, and the time allocations is accordance with the schedules of English subjects at the A grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hiliduho, as well as the time for interviewing the English teachers according to the agreed schedules. And the locations of the research is SMP Negeri 2 Hiliduho, and the data source in this research were English teachers at the A grade of SMP Negeri 2 Hiliduho in 2022 and 2023. Data were obtained in 3 ways, namely observing when the English teachers taught in class and implementing a scientific approach to students, then conducting interviews with the teachers concerned, and the last is documentations. The next is about the research instruments, namely interview, observations, and documentations. While the data collecting technique, it is interview that using audio recorder, interview guidelines, and camera recorder. And the next is observations. It is using an observations guide or observation sheets, and the third is documentations that use syllables and lesson plan from English teachers. Now we are talking about the data analysis technique. There are 3 ways to analyze the data, namely data reductions, data display, and also drawing conclusions or verifications. Data reductions refers for summarizing, choosing the main things, looking for the themes and patterns. It is focused for making concept based the data that have been collected. And the second one is data display. This process is done to make it easy for writers to construct data in the form of narrative or matrix, graphs, and etc. Then the last is drawing conclusions. The conclusion here is expected is new discoveries that never exist before. The discovery that was previously still dim or unclear after conduct the research becomes clear. Finally, that's all my presentation. Thank you for your nice attentions. Now I'm ready to answer the questions from the examiners, and I hope I can answer it as well as I can. Thank you!